You may proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, committee members. I present ACA-7, which would allow the governor to approve Proposition 209 waiver applications from state and local entities to use state funds for the implementation of research-based or research-informed and culturally specific programs or interventions to increase the life expectancy of, improve the educational outcomes for, or lift out of poverty specific ethnic groups or marginalized genders. Particularly, I want to make sure that I state that I accept the committee's amendments and thank the chair and his staff for working with our office on this measure. Proposition 209, quite frankly, was a failed experiment. And we have learned through the preponderance of the research that the best way to serve specific groups is to ensure that the intervention is culturally informed, culturally appropriate, and meets their specific needs. And too often when we try to look at, when researchers and practitioners try to utilize state funds for specific interventions, that's been proven to work to save lives, such as diabetes prevention, such as hypertension, and other things. Unfortunately, our Constitution does not allow for that because it's deemed to be unconstitutional. So simply, ACA-7 seeks to provide a balanced approach to ensure that if local or state agencies would like to provide interventions to meet specific cultural groups, that they can apply for a waiver to be able to do so. And I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Brian Rivas on behalf of the Education Trust West. Happy to be here in support.
Thank you. Seeing no further witnesses in support, witnesses in opposition. Seeing none, questions or comments from the committee? Motion? Motion from Ms. Reyes. Second from Mr. Haney. With that, sorry, Mr. Essayli.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Jackson. I know I've expressed I have a different philosophical viewpoint on this. I guess my question is the intent of the bill to create equal opportunities for all members in society? Is it to guarantee equal outcomes?
It is to save lives. Specifically, the language is very specific. It is meant to increase the life expectancy of specific groups. It's meant to improve the educational outcomes of specific groups and lift out of poverty specific groups to ensure that we are serving all people with the dignity and humanity that they deserve.
And why do you think it's important that the government consider people's race when providing these services as opposed to just providing services to all disadvantaged Californians?
Well, I think that statement is just simply false. Number one, I don't think. The research is clear. And when I say research, I don't mean blogs, I don't mean news articles, I mean peer-reviewed research articles that have been thoroughly vetted. It's been clear, and the preponderance of the evidence is that the best way to serve, for instance, the Afghanistan refugees that are coming to California, it would be naive to think that we can speak to them in English, that we can not understand the cultural nuances about what's acceptable to them or not, what are the best practices for them to be able to serve them in the right way. To not take that into account was simply not being able to serve them to the fullest capacity. And so I think for me, this is not a theoretical thing. The research is clear on it, and the question just becomes, do you believe that people have the right to be served according to their specific needs historical, cultural needs? Or do you just believe that you have the best solution for them? I think that's the question that has to be answered.
All right. Well, I appreciate your perspective. I just fundamentally disagree.
Not a perspective. This is a fact. So let's not get it twisted here. This is a fact. There is no opinion that I am exercising. This is not something that that I am willing to engage in a cultural narrative over. The fact is that this is the right thing to do. There are a number of interventions that cannot be used right now that is proven to save lives.
I appreciate your comments. I respectfully disagree. I think 57% of Californians disagree.
But you're wrong.
Oh, excuse me. I'd like to finish speaking. 57% of Californians disagree who approved Prop 209. I believe it is a mistake in the United States of America to go backwards and to inject race into government policy. I think all people are created equal, and the government should treat people equally, and we can provide services to disadvantaged communities without making race a factor, and I support that. I think everyone should have an equal opportunity in the United States. I am a minority. I came from a minority background, and I don't want the government to, treat me differently than anyone else. I want to be treated equally, and so with that, I respect your viewpoint, but I respectfully disagree. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions or comments from the committee? Oh, Ms. Reyes?
Dr. Jackson, thank you so much for bringing this bill forward. I think that in a perfect society, everybody should be treated equally. But as you have noted, studies are clear. People are not treated differently. The hue of their skin, the accent of their speech causes others to treat them differently. And sometimes we need to be reminded that we do need to be treated differently, but equality is not necessarily what we need to look for. It has to be equity, because many have been left behind. And if you're trying to bring everybody up at the same level, you have to go back to those that you have intentionally or unintentionally left behind or pushed down to bring them up to the same level before we can start saying we're treating everybody equally. So with that, I would move this bill. It's already been moved.
Yeah. We already have a motion and a second. With that, seeing no further question or comment, Mr. Jackson, you may close.
Sure. I would just close by saying that at the end of the day, what is clear and what the research also shows is that even when an intervention is well-meaning, if it's not the proper intervention and the best intervention for their specific needs, even that intervention can be harmful. And so the idea that one intervention is good for everybody is simply wrong. It's simply misguided. And this ACA is designed to get it right. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. The motion is to be adopted as amended to the Appropriations Committee. I'd ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Mainshine?
Aye.
Mainshine, aye. Essayli?
No.
Essayli, no. Connolly? Aye. Connolly, aye. Dixon? Not voting. Haney? Aye. Haney, aye. Calra? Pacheco? Aye. Pacheco, aye. Pappen? Aye. Aye. Pappen, aye. Reyes? Aye. Reyes, aye. Rivas? Sanchez? No. Sanchez, no.
Your bill is out.
Thank you.
Thank you.